Okay. Hi, welcome to more Ace Attorney. We're continuing Bridge to the Turnabout. We're playing as Edgy Boy, and we're we just called Larry as a witness. Oh, I should put my glasses on.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm not really sure what to say.
Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene.
Alright, I'll help you in any way I can.
First, about that night. You really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you at the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying.
Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room at Hazakura Temple.
Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the times Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile?
There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me.
So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sorry about that. Iris.
I can't tell you about that yet.
Yet.
Not until our safety is confirmed.
Her.
The safety of the Acolyte.
The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham?
No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life.
As I thought, no psycho locks. Very well. It is my job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. What will now reconvene? Swan Karma? Where's the witness?
During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery.
Gosh. Sorry, give me a sec. Suspicious behavior.
He was sketching something very intensely.
I asked what the witness was sketching when he was detained.
drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip.
I can only presume that his intention was to capture you.
Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Loris Donum, I hope you're ready. Get in here.
It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today.
Ow! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey! I was just artistically rendering. Ouch! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm just a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, Viridian.
Larry, this isn't an art store, now is it?
I know. I graduated junior high, okay?
Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work. I hope.
That's it. Thanks, buddy.
It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence.
I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I got nothing to do with this trial, at all. I expect all of your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Or, to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch! Stop your pathetic blabbing and testify like a man.
Right from whipping from this one, Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Yes, that was all your fault. Testify now.
This is too much for me. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy?
Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony.
I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? Why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation, or anything else?
Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex.
He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized that for himself. Just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy.
Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination, with no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time.
I was at that lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. This is gonna be really dumb. Like, the first thought that came to my mind is this is a contradiction because there were no stars out that night because it was cloudy because it was snowing.
Hold it!
Where's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth?
This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. And so, witness, any ideas to where those contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. That rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars could be seen, it's not like I was there to look at them, right? See, you can do it if you try. Ouch! There's only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge.
Walked to the bridge a number of times, but...
Hold it!
A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. Which means... you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night. You bet. Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack, using this blackmail letter. Blackmail? No! That was simply a product of overflowing love. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey. Excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness. Wow, that is a tongue twister. But you see, I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness, eh? Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. I didn't see its snowmobile.
Hold it!
Larry, you really didn't see it. Hey, no need to hit your desk, I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile? If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up! What is this? I don't know, don't ask me. It seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. Hey Squiggles, how are you doing? I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. This actually is just factually incorrect. He saw Phoenix there.
Objection!
Larry Butts, I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. When did the red guy show up? When Phoenix fell through a bridge into a freezing cold river. He's currently in the hospital. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But, having realized just how much of a nuisance you've been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? It certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you from simply turning away from the incidents you create. You're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right. Me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you'll continue to cause these incidents. But reality will not change. But what do you want me to do, then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now... It's the judge's younger cousin. He showed up in case 1 and 4 as well. No, you just missed the point where a whole bunch of shit changed. Like, you missed one instance where everything changed. Because basically everyone is out of commission currently. Because Godot is missing, Phoenix is in the hospital, and Edgeworth is a prosecutor, so he called in the other judge instead, so that he wouldn't be found out as he's posing as a defense attorney currently. Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well.
I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder?
I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick.
Certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you?
So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire?
It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. Totally burnt out. Like, almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall.
What did you say?
Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold.
I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky.
Oh, then, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination.
Went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. This feels like it should contradict the, Yeah.
Hold it!
What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half? Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess.
Excited? Dare I even ask?
I set the meeting time at 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too. Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end. Maya is currently trapped on the other side of Dusky Bridge in the inner temple because the bridge got struck by lightning and is currently out. And Pearl is currently MIA.
Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they?
Shut up! Don't go picking my fond memories apart. Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me.
Hold it!
This light was, of course, lightning. Like, kerpow! Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. Big bada boom.
Or a little like that.
It's more like a punch from Miranda.
Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge?
Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire.
Hold it!
Seeing that, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart.
And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge?
Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold. So at first, I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so, I don't know, changed my mind?
Not sure I care for the forget-it attitude you had at first, witness.
There was still some thunder, but I went out right away to check it out.
Hold it!
You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out.
How far is this small shack that you were in from the bridge?
Hold on, well, it pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about 5-minute walk? And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kid made during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info?
Why did you go to the bridge?
So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge.
Who are we currently defending? We're defending Iris, who is the... We're defending Iris currently.
Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so?
Well, yeah, I guess it does. It was really cold. I didn't really want to go out there. Iris is all that we know her as. Iris is also her, Shrine Maiden name. Like, she's basically going under a pseudonym right now. It was really cold. I didn't want to go out there.
If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I'd like to hear your reasoning.
In which case, please give testimony to that effect, witness.
My reasoning? Okay, reasoning is it? I thought I'd never get another chance to see something so big burning.
Hold it!
So you decided to go and see what was happening.
That's right. We're talking about a massive suspension bridge burning to high heaven. It's not something you see every day. Real specule... Like, really special?
Can we really trust a witness who is unable to pronounce spectacle?
Life seems to love hitting this poor witness below the belt. Well, my motto is hit life back as hard as I can.
I'll give you a few hits too if you'd like, with my whip.
You told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth.
Oh, yeah, that's Franziska von Karma. She's great. And yes, she brings a whip into court.
Larry, let me ask you one thing.
She also whips the defense and the judge. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face?
Why didn't you call anyone?
Huh? What do you mean?
Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct?
Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Huh?
Yeah, okay. My reason.
It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, it's just I didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later.
Hold it!
You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright.
Yeah. I thought I'd better tell someone about this. But then Nick came up yelling about murder. Totally made me forget about the bridge. Fire was pretty much out by then anyway.
What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease.
Squiggles, I'm gonna stop that line of reasoning right there. They're brother and sister. It's like sister and adopted brother.
It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, more or less.
He told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, yep, cool.
Murder charges. Because it's Ace Attorney and every case has to be a murder. Arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later. Can it just be corporate tax fraud for once? The closest thing to a non-murder case in one of these games is the Stolen Turnabout, the Luke at Me case, where it starts as a larceny and then turns into homicide. If somebody was poisoned to concede the case. No, you saw the crime photo, she was stabbed. Not that one. This one. Let's see.
Hold it!
It was Luke then. Okay, that just continues the,
Hold it!
yeah.
Still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. Lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me.
Hold it!
What evidence do I even have that could contradict this?
Hold it!
Arrived at the bridge, and Nick showed up less than a minute later. I genuinely don't see what I'm supposed to be getting at here. I don't know. Am I supposed to be presenting the weather data here?
Objection!
No. Lightning, 10 to approximately 11. Around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out.
Objection!
Oh. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know? 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at around 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge. Meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible.
What do you mean?
11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Yo, thanks for the raid, Herr Chief. Raid message. How are you doing, Sachi? Welcome in, Raiders. I hope that you're all doing good. I'm Maddie, and we're playing some Ace Attorney. Yeah, stream's been going good. Vibing is the weekend. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me. I have an objection. You do? Hedgie, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Maurice Donham.
It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that.
Watch your footing there, Miss Francisca von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there's no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m.
And why not?
It is clearly written here in the weather data report. In the weather data. Yeah, I honestly I prefer the pixel art on the DS, but I will admit that, like, the clean lines are nice, but I prefer the, like, kind of rough pixel art that the original on the DS has. It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for that bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Means what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m. DS Ace Attorney has so much charm due to its sprite work, yeah. But Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest that you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then. What happened during these missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Pinch me. Yeah. Apollo's 1,000 Backstories trilogy, yeah.
So, there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Mr. Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem.
Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there's a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness. Why didn't you? What, were you... were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty.
That's what it sounds like.
Ah, but this is Larry we're talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Hedgie, I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought. You've been playing with us this whole time. Listen, I'm gonna tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time. Everything. Yeah.
Then say it.
Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness?
I'm a Donum. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? I'm sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and he came running up. I suppose that artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, this removed the last of your doubts. Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. That would be... This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You'll regret this, Edgy. I'm a Donum, and I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Tell us, Larry. My name is Laurice, get it right! Mistakes like that are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am. So who exactly are you? I'm Laurice Donum, apprentice extraordinaire. That's what he calls himself in any case. You are an artist? Of course, I'm an artist, the real thing. Yet again, that's what he calls himself.
Names mean nothing. There's only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing?
That is a very big issue indeed. Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art.
Hold it!
Sketching the burning bridge. Burning bridge and everything that came with it. What came with it? You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is...
Enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, Witness.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. Send him to jail. Leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please. Well, even I couldn't have imagined it'd turn out like this. Imagined what? That Laurice Donum's debut would take place here today, like this.
Ouch! Show it, now!
Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Laurice Donum. Well, this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma?
Yes, well... It's a better drawing than I expected.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames, I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to even bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine. But what is that unfortunate-looking figure? You spotted that? I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris! I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan it for our future, you know? What would happen to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please. Answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this?
Are you claiming to have seen a silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames?
Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist.
You...
Hi? The girl. She's really high up in this picture. Oh, what was that for?
This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory.
Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can lie.
Actually, there is some precedent for this.
She's flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She's about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It is really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth.
What? Me?
This witness is your friend, is he not?
Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth.
Let's get back to the cross-examination. By force, if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here.
Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron.
Well, what did you think of my debut piece? Get this thing away from me. Now hurry up and cross-examine him.
Oh, that's incorrect. She didn't have her white hood on. Yeah, the sketch actually genuinely looks good. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care.
In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole dollar I'd give you the whole dollar that it's the truth.
If that is truly the case, then there's one thing we can say for certain.
What might that be?
That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris.
What? What do you mean? I don't understand.
Duh. The foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool.
Jesus, that one actually tripped me up.
How exactly can you make this claim?
Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw wearing a hood, correct?
Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood.
Ugh. It seems there are bigger fools in this world than even the one at the defense's bench.
Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She'd given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight?
What are you talking about?
I think you understand what I mean just fine.
Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood?
What?
Hedgie, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why you? Nick, you dog! I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited and discarded. Straight into the garbage.
What is it now, witness?
It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this day to come. Hedgie, today's the day I get to completely stupefy you.
What?
What's the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence.
Definitive?
Evidence?
Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge. And I, Larice Donham, shall prove it. Expect to ask this again. We shall be needing your testimony once again. Plus anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch. Show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy. Because I'm gonna feed you a whopping serving of pain. Whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding the beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. A crystal sphere? This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers.
That sphere. Where did you find it?
Let me see. Around here somewhere? That looks about right. Only Larry would pick up something that very clearly has blood on it and keep it for himself because he didn't realize it was evidence. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then. But there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. Accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward. There's something on it. Oh my, it's blood. What? Blood. You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Larice Donham only a few minutes ago? When I reached the Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. It's either this or sending Elisa's, Larry. That night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who was the stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donham, the mentor to a stupid idiot.
The victim?
I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! It's my photograph! Give it back! Ouch!
A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch.
They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. The mentor of an idiot line very much reminds me of the, you're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck from Yu-Gi-Oh! In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime. Ah! Crystal sphere. It's gone. What? 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 Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means one who flew, dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donham.
fool alongside another fool, on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected.
You can't do that. I saw it with my own two eyes.
And this crystal sphere. This is nothing more than a red herring.
You honestly believe that?
Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. At least Donna was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all.
Miss Franziska von Karma. The only people who accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns.
Why are you pointing at me?
The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe that this has nothing to do with the case.
That crystal sphere. It was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder.
The murder?
There's blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent. Which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch.
What? You mean I'm the killer? He admitted it. Throw him in jail.
All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear next to the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe that it's related to the case.
She makes a valid point. There's no evidence that Elise Donum left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely.
Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, non-competitive gamer, how are you doing? There should be a Larry Butts law that allows for someone to be thrown in jail for the crime of being Larry Butts. To be fair, it's only Justice for All Larry Butts. Or not Justice for All. Trials and Tribulations Larry Butts. Ace Attorney 1 Larry Butts. He's a cool dude in that one. He's actually nice, and he saves Edgeworth's ass. But your response, Mr. Edgeworth? Doing well. This is not a first playthrough, but it's my first playthrough in a hot minute, so I don't remember everything down to a T. I'm mostly playing this because I absolutely, like, I wanted to revisit it, first off, and I absolutely hate when, like, you go to a VODs channel of somebody, and they have only played game, like, 4 in a series of, you know, 7 games. It's just like, you play them in order, please. Or, like, if you're not going to play them in order, they need to be disconnected enough that they don't matter if you haven't played them in order. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine. And I'm just like, I'm gonna play through the original Ace Attorney trilogy before I start getting into the stuff that I haven't actually played. And I'm doing Great Ace Attorney after this, which I haven't touched at all. I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. Not related to the case, then this witness who you call, but nothing more than a monumental waste of time.
Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth.
Put so many hours into the original trilogy on your DS. It's really funny. This replay, like this replay of the trilogy, has actually... Like how there's absolutely no reason to play Drakengard 2, even if you're doing Drakengard 1 and 3. Yeah, because Drakengard 2 isn't even directed by Yoko Taro. But, it's really funny because on my save, on my 3DS, on the trilogy release on 3DS, I have
played every game to the final case, and I have not beaten any of the final cases on it.
Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth.
Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's what my boyfriend would do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. He'd point at me with that finger of his. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. Like, I've seen all of the cases in this game, but I never actually played through them until my replays for this first stream. What?
That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he's cornered.
That should come as no surprise. We've been kissing on the side for years now, Francisca. I'm sorry you had to find out like this. Because right now, I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. It's the weather report, right? Because the sphere was found half buried in snow, and it couldn't have been half buried in snow if it had already stopped snowing at the time.
Take that!
Response, Miss Von Karma?
Birds of a feather flock together. Are you familiar with this phrase?
Yes, because he's put me in a corner multiple times.
Miles Edgeworth. I think one such bird is calling for its fellow now.
Go, Edgy! Do it! Prove it! Win, win, win! He's cheering. It's as though I'm listening to the ominous cause of ravens. So, Mr. Edgeworth, what will you do from here? How is it not the weather report? One more chance, Your Honor. I can't turn back after coming all this way. The time of the murder and when the crystal sphere was dropped. I need to find a proof that the latter happened first. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. How is it not the weather report? The crime photo? Part of me wants to say that it's the staff because there's no blood on it. But that would work the opposite way.
Take that!
This crystal sphere was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. Okay, so I had the right idea, but it was literally just a different piece of evidence for no reason. That's all I need to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly.
Snowing?
On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body.
Ah,
Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder.
What?
order.
On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose.
What? What could that have been?
This sphere, there is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge.
The murder didn't take place in Hazakura Temple Courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness.
Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma?
Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in Hazakura Temple Courtyard.
That's not exactly true now, is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body.
That's the same thing.
That's not quite your voice. No, it isn't. You said it yourself.
Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed.
If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding.
You're forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. At least Donham's body was found in Hazakura Temple.
That's not your voice. No, it isn't. That's not quite your voice. No, is it?
At least Donham's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest that someone carried the body all that way?
I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of events is also perfectly plausible.
Defense is ready. The court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple.
I don't have the actual snowmobile as evidence, so I'm just gonna send the tracks picture.
Take that!
On that snowy night, there's one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon. But it also could have been used to carry a body.
Order. Yeah!
This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave.
What do you mean?
The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. And she's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin?
You're too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We've shown that this case requires further investigation.
What?
Where was the victim, Elise Donham, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean?
Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it.
This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. Wow, that is a mean thing to say, but also that's really funny. This witness clearly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl to whom with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy, thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It's just as I thought. Franziska von Karma, you make a wonderful partner.
Excuse me?
There was one reason, and one reason alone, for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to Wright.
Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had Francie whipping me at all. Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel.
Ashamed that your chance seems to have slipped you by.
What a shame, Francie. This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You're an affront to all the legal system stands for. I demand satisfaction.
You just fucking killed him. Cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that should be addressed. Counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, Wright? Court is now adjourned. Oh god, he was in the hottie clinic. Still up at this hour, reading through the trial record of a certain case. It's the first case my mentor, Mia Fey, had ever handled in a court of law. The horrifying truth that I refuse to accept is holding me hostage here within its pages. Dahlia Hawthorne. What I have read, I don't want to believe. What is written here isn't the Dahlia I knew. After falling into Eagle River, I was somehow miraculously saved. But I ended up catching a cold that seemed to knock me around the world and back. Phoenix is indestructible. I feel dizzy, my ears are ringing, my throat burns, and my head is on fire. But I will recover. I have to recover by this afternoon. Imagine just catching a cold from that. Yeah, exactly. I have to meet with the most ill-tempered witness imaginable. But I know that he'll be able to help me with him. Somehow. Right. Are you sure you're well enough to be doing this? You still look a little green in the face. Maybe Viridian in artist speak. Actually, my fever's gone down quite a bit. How's your temperature now? Only 102 degrees. Nothing to worry about. Anyway, I read today's trial record. You weren't bad, Edgeworth. Pretty impressive despite the circumstances. We're not in the clear yet. The main point of contention tomorrow is going to be the murder weapon. Yeah. In the end, the Shiji Shito did not deliver the deadly blow. Which means that there must be another sword hiding out there that we don't know about. Another sword, huh?
Don't you worry about a thing, pal. I'll dig up the murder weapon myself, or I'll eat my coat.
Thanks again, Edgeworth. I'll handle things from here. That's probably for the best. Actually, I was thinking about paying the old precinct a little visit. There's something I want to look into. And that is... our client's background. Naturally.
You met Iris, sir?
I have the feeling that we've met before. All I want is confirmation, one way or the other. And since I probably won't be getting that from you... I'm sorry, Edgeworth. I bid you adieu, Wright? Take care. I'm off to go star in my own spin-off duology.
Guess I should get moving too.
Why? Do you need to be somewhere?
Yeah. Gotta get to work on this bridge, pal. I'm rigging something up so I can get across to the other side.
That's right. Maya's still stuck over at the Inner Temple.
Don't you worry, pal. As soon as it's all set, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you, Gumshoe.
No problem, pal. Just try not to give me that cough of yours, okay? Alright, I'm off.
Hang in there, Maya. We'll get you out, I promise. But in the meantime, I've got to continue collecting evidence. Come on, please. It's for art's sake, I swear. Only one guy I know who could be this persistent and high-strung. I'm talking about the heroine here. The heroine in my book. It'll make you famous. I'm talking about the heroin I've injected into my veins. Enough. A fool's. Wow. A fool's fool. Fools who foolishly. Wow. A fool's fools who foolishly accept the foolishness of a fool's fool. Wouldn't you agree, Phoenix Wright? Huh? Me? Wait a sec. I know you. You're, how? Your reflexes and mind need to shape up. Brain's frying like a sunny side up, and you want to grill me over a name? Frenzy, you can't do that. Even as we speak, Nick's on the brink of death. Or so I'm told. Whip a dead horse. Isn't that one of your American sayings? No, it's not. And I'm not on the brink of anything. Wow, I slipped into Larry's voice, whoops. Come on, Nick, tell her, would you? Tell her she needs to model for my new picture book. Frenzy's Whippity Whip Trip. Before you ask me to model, at least learn to give at least a semi-coherent testimony. And before that, you'll have to learn how to live a semi-coherent life, Larry. I don't care what anyone says. I'm telling the truth. I saw what I saw. She flew, I'm telling you. Whoosh, just like that dude with the red underwear. Don't think I'm gonna forgive you guys when you come back crawling to apologize. Off he goes. It's amazing how little has changed with you in the past year, Phoenix Wright. Have you been in Germany all this time? That's right. Extending my perfect win record, naturally. Oh joy, sounds like she hasn't changed a bit. Has it really been a year since we first met? I am Franziska von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany to come to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Franziska was born and raised in Germany and became a prosecutor at the age of 13. Her father was the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. He had a perfect win record for 40 long years, but now he's gone from this world. Don't tell me you still hold a grudge against me. Is it what happened to your father? Phoenix, she never held a grudge against you for what happened to her father. She held a grudge against you for what happened to Edgeworth.
Phoenix Wright, you will fall before me. This I promise.
Yes, Manfred von Karma is dead.
But it will be for my sake, not my father's. Are we clear?
Yes, Crystal.
In truth, I was shocked. I came back to America with the intention of defeating you. Instead, it was my little brother who was leading the defense.
Little brother in quotation marks. Edgeworth is like 3 years older than her, I think. Edgeworth. Come to think of it, Edgeworth was pulled into being a prosecutor by Manfred von Karma as well.
Miles Edgeworth told me something very interesting, you know. He said this case has a special significance to you.
Because it does.
And that's precisely why I'm here. Your personal involvement will make crushing you into teensy-weensy pieces all the better.
It's probably the fever, but she's so openly hostile that it's almost kind of cute. How?
No smirking.
No whipping the sick. Yeah. It's the line on the inside of her eye along, like, her nose that's giving off the illusion of, like, that bag under her eye. But also, funny that you should mention that, Franziska also basically flew for 14 hours, read the case file on the plane, and then she came into court late, which means that she probably she's very punctual, so she more or less, most likely, got off the plane and ran straight to the courtroom. And now she's gonna be here investigating with us for the rest of the day, so Franziska von Karma has been up for like 30 hours.
That foolish fool, doing such a foolish favor for such a foolishly foolish fool.
Edgeworth.
Make no mistake, Phoenix Wright. I came here for one thing, and one thing only. To pulverize you.
It's not like I thought you were here to bring me some Cold Killer X, you know?
I went over the whole case file on the flight over.
Read the whole thing?
Yes. Every last word of every last sentence of every last paragraph. All the ridiculous things you did made it a very interesting read, you know? Attempting to cross a burning bridge. Did you even consider the dangers?
No. The only thought on my mind was, I have to get across.
A fool who doesn't think is more foolish than a fool who foolishly thinks.
Gumshoe said he'd let me know once the bridge was repaired. Maya, she's gotta be okay, I just know it. Plus, I need to ask her about what really happened at the Inner Temple that night. Hey, Franziska, I'm an attorney. About this. Yow!
I refuse to help you, Phoenix Wright.
Should have known better than to try. That was a long sigh. Sister Bikini?
My. I didn't know you were here. How are you doing?
You don't have to pretend to be in a good mood for my sake.
I suppose I've made a terrible mess of things, haven't I? I let Mystic Elise die, and then there was Iris as well.
Mystic Elise? Now that I think about it...
There's an acolyte stuck at the Inner Temple, and that poor little girl has gone missing too.
little girl? You don't mean Pearls, do you?
Yes, I'm afraid I do. She hasn't been seen since the morning after the incident.
Pearls? She's missing? Why didn't anyone tell me about this?
I must be getting old. I think I've seriously lost faith in myself.
You talking about your performance at the trial today?
You believe me, don't you? I'm not a liar. I would never lie. I know what I saw. I saw Iris pull that sword from Mystic Elise's body that night. I'm certain of it. At least, I was until this morning.
I don't see any psyche locks, so she must be telling the truth. So why are you so unsure of yourself all of a sudden?
You know that artist who testified after me?
I saw Iris flying, her white hood fluttering. I felt like I might start flying myself.
When I saw that man testify so fervently about something so impossible, I started to wonder if I had acted just like him when I was on the witness stand.
I wouldn't take that guy too seriously. He's an artist, but all he draws is trouble, nothing else. If both Bikini and Larry are telling the truth, that can only mean one thing. They both didn't see what they think they saw. On the night of the incident, you met with Iris at the Inner Temple, is that correct?
That's right. I'm sure it was Iris.
But Iris claims she was in her room at Hazakura Temple.
I knew I shouldn't have come back here that night.
But because you did, Maya's stuck by all by herself in the Inner Temple.
I'm so sorry. The traps in that place are nothing to shake a stick at. Winter is especially bad.
I'll bet. Training hall looks like it's about to fall down at any second.
Eagle Mountain has always been prone to earthquakes, just so you know.
Earthquakes?
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if the next big one levels the training hall.
Gotta get Maya out of there, fast.
But still, there's really no need to worry. That area on the other side of Dusky Bridge is isolated like an island.
It's like an island? How so?
Well, the only thing on that side of the bridge is the Inner Temple. No one lives out there, and it's surrounded on all sides by the river or the forest.
I see.
And so a criminal would be trapped should they choose to flee in that direction. And as long as the bridge is out of commission, he or she will have to stay there.
Means Maya could be stuck out there with a murderer, and no way of escape either.
Oh dear. Yes, I suppose it does.
Please, Gumshoe, get that bridge up faster. I'm curious about a few things, if you don't mind, or if you don't mind answering some questions.
Oh? Do you need to know my measurements for your investigation or something?
No. I want to know a little more about the victim, Miss Elise Donham.
I'm afraid I don't know her waist size, or her bust size for that matter.
Oh no, I'm wondering why she came to stay in a place like this to begin with. I mean, she told us herself that she wasn't here for spiritual training.
My. You make it sound like this place is some sort of dump, Mr. Wright. Mystic Elise was here to soak up the natural beauty of Eagle Mountain, if you must know.
There, you did it again, Sister Bikini. I noticed you always refer to Miss Donham as Mystic Elise.
Oh?
Yes. Now, why is that? After all, she's not here as an acolyte.
We address all of our visitors as Mystic. It makes their experience feel authentic. And anyway, she's older than me. You must respect your elders, you know.
How do you know that? How can you say for sure that she's older than you? Seems Miss Elise Donham was no ordinary visitor after all. There's Pearls. She was with Miss Donham on the evening of the murder, and now she's vanished. It's all gotta be connected somehow. Why did Pearls have to get it mixed up in this?
Please, Mr. Wright. I know you're worried, but try to keep it together.
Oh man. My head's throbbing so bad it's killing me. Pearls, she was with Miss Donum on the night of the murder, remember?
Yes, but I have a temple to run, you know. I was busy preparing for the training. I didn't see the little darling even after we'd finished eating dinner.
The murder. It didn't take place right in front of her innocent eyes, did it?
According to the detective, she hasn't turned up at her home either.
Come on, keep calm. There's one place left where Pearls could be. She just has to be there. Come on, Gumshoe. Tell me you'll be done with the repairs soon.
Oh dear. I wonder where on earth that little girl has wandered off to. She's nowhere near the main hall, that's for sure.
First I lost Maya, and now Pearls. How much more pain is this case gonna cause me? Ugh. Not to mention this fever is giving me a killer migraine. This is where Sister Bikini witnessed the incident. It's hard to imagine that she was lying on the stand, so... maybe there are some clues that have yet to be found. Shiji Shito. It's there in Mysticami's right hand. It was proven in court today that it wasn't the murder weapon. Given the design, it must have been used for some pretty gruesome things in the past. Miss Donum's staff. I definitely remember there being a crystal sphere attached to the staff. Guess Larry eventually found the sphere near the foot of Dusky Bridge, but what was it doing all the way out there? Main gate's on the other side of that stone wall. Difference in elevation is almost 10 feet. That's how steep this hillside is. And that's also the height the body fell from, according to the autopsy. Is it possible that Miss Donum was pushed from atop the wall? Hey!
What was that jarring, inconsiderately loud yell?
This is where you've been. Been nice and warm, I see. Detective, have you finished your bridge? Yeah, I did. I told you I'd let you know.
Well, well, well. Then I'll come along with you and...
Sorry, ma'am. No unauthorized entry. Access is restricted to people involved in the case.
What was that? I'm involved, aren't I? You couldn't get much more involved than me.
Well, yeah. That's not what I meant. Ugh.
It's been a while, Scruffy.
Hi. It's... Miss... Von Karma!
Sister, please leave the investigation to me. My. Well, you certainly seem to have everything under control. I'm on your side. I won't do anything you don't want me to.
As you work to pin the guilt on Iris.
What are you daydreaming about, Phoenix Wright?
Ow! That hurts, you know.
Silence. I, Francisca Von Karma, will personally guide you through your investigation. So you will follow me.
She's not seriously going to follow me around, is she? Whoops. It's like no one's here. Larry! Clarice! Sure he'd be hiding here. Guess I'll try again later. Things have certainly become a lot more hectic than before.
They must have commenced with the investigation. Oh, Mr. Nick!
That voice. Pearls.
Mr. Nick! Mr. Nick!
So you were here. Ever since that night.
I was so lonely, I thought I was going to die. When I woke up in the morning and saw that Dusky Bridge was gone, I realized I was all alone.
She was all alone?
It must have been very trying for you, little girl. I am Francisca von Karma, the prodigy. There's no need to worry now that I'm here. You're the prosecutor who was so mean to Mystic Maya last year. Well, I don't like you. You're nothing but a little girl without your whip. Mystic Maya didn't do anything wrong, but you were so mean. I'll never forgive you.
Looks like Pearls' words are getting under her skin. Cow, why are you whipping me? I didn't even say anything.
You didn't have to. The smile on your lips gave you away.
Anyway, Pearls, weren't you with Maya?
I'm sorry, it's all my fault.
Huh? You talking about, Pearls?
Mystic Maya!
Hey, wait! Pearls! She just ran off. Is this child going to cause Francisca's character development? Ow!
That was cruel, Phoenix Wright. To make a little girl cry like that is inexcusable.
What was that all about? Pearls acting like that. It's giving me the creeps. Guess I'd better take another look around since I finally got a chance. Especially since something about this place seems different from 2 days ago. There's a weird smell coming from that incinerator. The door's also open, almost like it's begging me to look inside. Well, let's see what stunning clues concealed in here, shall we? What do you mean I have to play a thing of Sudoku to get the clue? Huh? It's empty.
How naive of you, Phoenix Wright.
But it's a bit strange, don't you think? Francisca von Karma. You seem to remember. There was snow on this incinerator the first time I saw it. In other words, someone's been using it to burn something recently.
Listen, Phoenix Wright. It's impertinent to call people by their full name.
I was only copying you. Look at all the Buddha statues lined up along this path.
Phoenix Wright. Do you think this is how many siblings the head nun has?
Why don't you ask her the next time you see her?
You know what? I think I will.
She'll probably slap you for prying into her private affairs.
Phoenix Wright.
What? Would you stop calling me by my full name like that?
Was this once a prosperous port?
Port?
Yes, that metal hook is a mooring post for boats, you know.
Oh, that's an anchor for one of the wires that's used to hold up the bridge. I think the wire that was tied to this one probably snapped when the bridge burned down. I mean, there's no way there was ever a port all the way up here.
Don't get smart with me, Phoenix Wright.
I didn't say anything. I love that you get Francisca banter, while investigating. The sign says Inner Temple.
I don't know how you're reading it, but that's incomprehensible to me.
Actually, I can't read it either.
Feigning comprehension isn't a very good habit to have, Phoenix Wright.
I was really happy to have finally caught me on something.
This must be the door that leads to the Inner Temple, where Maya Fey was training on the night of the murder.
Yes, there's a solitary room there called the Training Hall.
You could do with some training yourself, Phoenix Wright.
How?
You're completely out of shape.
Ugh. I don't know how much more of this woman I can take. It's a little gate that leads it into the garden. This is no entry on the sign, though.
Come now, Phoenix Wright. What are you doing? Let's go in. It's half open anyway. What harm could come of it?
It says no entry.
Don't you Americans enjoy doing whatever you like and then simply say whatever?
It's got nothing to do with anything. Who told you that?
What's wrong? Why are you so quiet?
She was supposed to be in here training.
Yet it appears she's nowhere to be seen.
What's that? That strange lock. Wasn't there 2 days ago. This whole room is really giving off some strange vibes.
What do you think this yellowish poster is, Phoenix Wright?
It's a scroll, not a poster. It's a picture of a woman who's actually...
A woman? I don't see any woman here.
A different atmosphere in this room since last time I was here. No, it's not a different atmosphere. It's a different smell. It's gravy.
What's the matter?
This scroll has been completely covered in gravy.
Ah, yes. There's a very appetizing smell in the air. But gravy is a type of sauce. So when you run out of paint, you Americans use gravy as a substance, I see.
Oh, no one does that. For starters, it stinks. This must be the gravy that we had with the roast on the night of the incident. Why would anyone do this? Why this scroll? Psyche locks in real life. This door. When I was here 2 days ago, that weird lock wasn't on it.
Those chains. It's almost as if they're guarding something inside that cavern. I've never seen a lock quite like this before.
I have. I've seen locks and chains just like this before. Look just like the ones that guard a person's secrets during a psyche lock. I wonder if this lock is guarding something too. Dark secrets in a dark cavern. What took you so long? I thought even you'd manage to get here faster than this, Mr. Wright. Prosecutor Godot! I didn't know you were here.
Prosecutor?
How come you didn't show up at the trial today? Huh. I could ask you the exact same question. Huh? But I had a cold, so... I had something slightly more important than a common cold to deal with. The importance of which is something you have no hope of ever understanding.
Enough. I believe I have the measure of you. You're the very worst kind of prosecutor. What could be more important than a trial?
Who's the wild mare, Wright? This is Miss Von Karma. She's the acting prosecutor in your absence today. Huh. Well, I guess I owe you one then. You can go now, Princess. It's time for the big boys to take the reins. Don't say that, Godot.
Just who do you think you are? This case is my...
Hey, Philly. Know your role and shut your mouth. Can't stand women like you. Godot! I'm only gonna say this once, Lady Von Whippingberg. Go home.
Phoenix Wright?
What are you hitting me for? You deserve more cracks of the whip than that, Wright. What? You still don't get it, do you? You don't realize that you've set something in motion that you'll never be able to undo. Something different about Godot today. Getting such a strong sense of something from that mask behind that mask of his. Wow, that was a very big Maddie has dyslexia moment. Is it anger? Or is it sorrow? You had some important business, and that's why you weren't in court, huh? So what was it?
I've told you once before. Perhaps you don't remember. I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. You see, Wright? I've experienced something that most have not. Death.
You died?
Of course. Being extradited from hell is a tedious affair. The meticulous regeneration and adjustment of all your internal organs is... well, let's just say modern medicine allows us all to live to a ripe old age. Even someone like me.
So, you mean that mask you wear is...
This ugly device? I promise it's not a fashion statement, my unenlightened friend. Without this, I can't see your frequently dumbfounded face.
I didn't know.
My eyesight's pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I can't see everything.
Gosh, why is Godot's voice so hard on my throat?
Still, I keep this worn-out piece of junk on a body going with regular servicing. And 17 cups of coffee.
I'm sorry, but you say you experienced death. How is that possible? What happened?
Why don't you ask him?
Huh? Me?
Yeah, that's right. You. You should know all about it. You know for one, you know when my life ended. Who ended it for me.
Well, Phoenix Wright, do you?
I don't know what he's talking about. Although, to be honest, I do feel a little tug at the corner of my memory. I think I do know about how Godot was killed.
It'll all become clear in due time. Isn't that right, Trite?
Earlier, you said I've done something that I can never undo. What did you mean by that exactly?
The inner temple here on the side of Dusky Bridge is an isolated island.
That's what Sister Bikini said, too.
And I wonder, Trite, do you know what the police are doing here today?
What do you mean?
They're searching. Searching for any trace of an acolyte who went missing.
Missing?
As the leader of the search party, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Maya Fey is not on the side of Dusky Bridge.
Huh? But that's impossible! She came here that night and...
I won't say it again. Chances of her being here are nil. Excluding, of course, one very unique place.
One. Where is that?
Sacred Cavern. The entrance of which we're standing at right now. It's the only place that the search party is yet to explore.
So they haven't even searched the cavern yet, huh?
Be aware, though, the temperature inside frequently falls below freezing. Even if she were in there, the chances of her being found alive are slim at best.
No!
Which means, Trite, you sent Maya Fey to her death.
You fool! If that's the situation, then why aren't you in there with the search party right now?
Must have blinders on, my equestrian angel. Don't you see the big lock and chains? It's a trick lock. I'm making preparations to open it as we speak, because apparently bolt cutters don't exist in this universe.
Or an ankle grinder.
Well, Trite, once again, a woman dies because of you.
Once again? What are you talking about?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. It was only 2 years ago, after all. And the last unfortunate woman died because of you.
Because of me?
And do you know who that was? It was Maya Fey's sister. That's right, Mia Fey.
Mia,
You killed her.
no, that's not how it was.
It was 2 years ago. Mia Fey was pursuing someone, a man. She bit off more than she could chew. Made a very dangerous enemy.
Yeah, that's one case I'll never forget. But I got that guy, personally.
Sure, Miss Fey's murderer was caught. That won't bring her back.
Well, no, but
You were with her at the time. You and no one else. It was your responsibility. You should have protected her. Say Mia Fey was your teacher. Well, then I'd say you've learned nothing, Trite. You robbed her of her life, and now you've let her sister suffer the same fate.
I haven't sentenced Maya to death. No. What is this peculiar-looking lock? Why don't we just break it open? It would be a simple matter of...
I'm afraid we can't do that. This area's always been prone to earthquakes. Repeated tremors have weakened the foundations of the training hall. Any excessive force used to break the lock open would... Well, let's just say the inner temple and the sacred cavern would be a thing of the past.
Godot, have you ever heard of my good friend, the Angle Grinder? He's an asshole, but he's a cool asshole. Very well. Then dare I suggest the obvious solution of opening it with the key?
Huh. Sure. Just show me where the keyhole is on this trick lock.
There's no keyhole?
That's right. Interesting puzzle, huh? The person who set this lock is the only one who can open it.
Then who was it?
Simple. The accused.
What? Iris.
When an acolyte undergoes training inside the sacred cavern, the attending sister is responsible for locking the entrance. Obviously, the night of the murder was no exception. Maya Fey was to train there.
Sister Bikini did mention that a number of times, now that I think about it. She said that Iris was left in charge of supervising the early stages of the training.
So Iris, the accused, is the only one who can open this lock. Arrange for her to be brought here now.
Iris is the only person who can open this lock. I hope she gets here soon. Hang on there, or hang on in there, Maya. We'll get you out.
So, I should be getting back to work.
Wait, Godot. How sure about Maya are you?
There's no doubt in my mind. She's in the sacred cavern somewhere. It's the only place she could be. You'd better start praying. You'd better pray that friend of yours brings the accused back here soon.
Edgeworth?
Listen up, Trite. There's only one thing I want to say to you before I go. I'll never accept you. Ever.
You should choose your friends more carefully, Phoenix Wright.
It's what everyone says.
Looks like I don't have much of a choice. I guess I'll just have to do what I can for now.
I don't know. Should I or shouldn't I?
Sounds like someone's talking to himself. Where's it coming from?
Yeah, I guess I'd better wash that off. That's what I'll do. No, but I can't do that. I'm a detective. Ugh, my brain, it's driving me nuts. Ugh.
Is something troubling you, Scruffy?
Please don't whip me like that all of a sudden, sir.
It was merely a simple greeting. A friendly tap on the shoulder with my whip. So what's up, Gumshoe? Is something on your mind?
How did you know, pal?
Perhaps you were trying to decide if you wanted to wash that off or not.
How did you know, sir? Oh, yeah. I nearly forgot. You can't go through that little gate there, okay?
You mean the one that says no entry on it?
Oh, yeah. And I've already snuck in there.
trying to be clever or something?
So what's behind there, Scruffy?
Huh? Kinda garden-like garden? A garden? Yeah. Anyway, it's under investigation right now, so keep out. I'm not telling you, I'm asking you, pal. You got me?
Isn't it normally the other way around?
Well, see you later.
So, shall we adjourn to this garden, Phoenix Wright?
Of course. What else would we do? I really want to know what Gumshoe was thinking of washing off.
There's a strange feeling in the air. I wonder what it is.
Strange feeling. Forget about that. What's the strange writing on the stone lantern? Ugh. What are you doing here, sir? Thought I said you can't come in here.
Don't you know, Scruffy? Von Karma will always show up whenever there's or wherever there's a clue. And there are plenty of clues to be found here.
What? There's a charm or something poking out from the snow. Looks pretty old. Leather cord tied to it, too. Apparently it belonged to the victim.
To Miss Elise Donham.
Yeah, there's a broken leather cord around the lady's neck. Ends of the cord found on both the victim and the charm match exactly.
Sounds to me like this little trinket is going to be my ticket to getting some very big answers. The heck is that?
Uh-oh. You spotted it, huh, pal?
You kidding me? It couldn't be more obvious.
It says, Maya.
Yeah. Before you ask, it's written in blood.
You will answer all of our questions now, Scruffy, without exception.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is odd. There's no snow on the ground here. It's an almost perfect rectangle. Couldn't have happened naturally.
Yes, it appears as though someone has carefully cleared away the snow. No doubt it was you, Scruffy.
No, it wasn't me, sir. It was already like that when my men and I got here to start the investigation.
It wasn't the police, then who did it?
Oh, yeah. There's something I need to tell you. Just between the three of us, okay?
What is it?
It's top secret. Can't tell anyone, got it?
Understood.
Well, when I was a kid, I got knocked out of the local wrestling contest, you see? I was so disappointed I picked up my mouthguard and cried all the way home. Man, I got in so much trouble when I left it on the couch.
Is that it?
That's it. Ugh!
Whoever cleared the snow away must have had a reason. Well, I can't even begin to imagine what the reason could be. So how's the Inner Temple investigation going?
Best forensic team in the world working in the place.
Forensic team. And what was the outcome of the scientific study?
Nothing. Scientifically speaking, the place is as clean as his whistle.
That's simply not good enough, Scruffy. Do you think I'll let you get away with that?
Oh. Well, there were a couple of things that bothered me when I first got here, sir. That stone lantern and the surrounding area that's not covered in...
That stone lantern and the surrounding area that's not covered in snow, correct?
They look kind of fishy to me. You know, scientifically speaking. So I got the lab boys to look them over. Results were... It's kind of hard to say, actually.
Guess I'd better look into them myself. About Maya.
Oh, Mr. Godot tell you yet?
Yes, we heard.
He's got a search party out looking for her. There's nowhere else she could have disappeared to on the side of Dusky Bridge. All we can do is wait for Mr. Edgeworth to get here, pal.
Edgeworth?
He's escorting Iris, the defendant, over here.
We'll have to wait, since she's the only one who can open the door to the sacred cavern.
Oh,
I think Mr. Edgeworth wants to talk to you about something too, pal. Huh? Wonder what it is. Just don't be expecting any good news when you talk to him. I spoke to him, Mr. Edgeworth sounded so down. Felt like I was drowning.
Sounds pleasant. Maya, so these letters are written in blood?
Yeah. What's worse is that it's the victim's blood.
Huh? This is Miss Donham's blood?
We haven't done a detailed analysis yet, but it's looking that way, pal.
Most interesting. Phoenix Wright, I presume you know, don't you? Why Maya's name is written upside down?
You know what? That was really bothering me too. I just came up with the answer. It was my own special gumshoe investigation.
Really? Do tell.
Well, on the night of the murder, that stone lantern was upside down.
Anyway, there's really only one logical explanation to this mystery. Miss Elise Donham wrote these letters herself. In her own blood.
Must be joking. It's impossible.
We're writing in the victim's blood and the other clues left behind. It seems pretty likely that this garden was the scene of Miss Elise Donham's murder. At least that's our current theory on how the events took place, pal.
What? So Miss Donham was killed here.
Where you want to look at it. That's what people are saying now.
Then, what Sister Bikini saw in the courtyard at the main temple was... Well, what was it? If that wasn't the scene of the crime, then what did she see?
What do you think, Miss Von Karma?
Surely a special gumshoe investigation would reveal the answer, no?
Wait a sec, the bloody writing and all the other clues here. Someone could have easily set all that up after the murder, right?
Sorry, but that's not an option, pal.
Why not?
How quickly you forget, Phoenix Wright. Ever since the incident occurred, this place has been completely inaccessible. Because Dusky Bridge was completely burned out.
I was overseeing repairs to the bridge the whole time. No one came over here before me and my men. Which means no one could have planted all this stuff here, pal.
I can't think of a counter-argument to that.
Knew it. Should have washed the blood off the lantern as soon as I got here.
This really was the scene of the crime. I need to figure out exactly what it was Bikini actually saw. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Go talk to Bikini.
It seems you have a visitor. Mr. Wright.
Iris, I'm really glad to see you. Godot managed to mobilize the police by claiming a state of emergency.
Not him again.
Never mind him, we gotta hurry and unlock the sacred cavern.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. It's my fault someone so important to you was locked in there. Mr. Edgeworth, can we finish our conversation later?
Alright. Let's hurry to the inner temple then. I'll see you later, right? Wait, Edgeworth! I'm coming with you guys. Sorry, Wright. I can't allow you to come with us. What? I hate to be the one to break it to you, but Maya Fey is in a rather delicate position. What do you mean by a delicate position? This isn't simply a rescue operation, right? It's also an investigation. That being the case, we can't allow members of the public to interfere. Come on, Edgeworth. If anything happens, you'll be the first to know. Please understand, right? But it's Maya.
Mr. Wright, all that matters is that Mystic Maya is rescued, correct? Listen to the voice of reason for a change, Phoenix Wright.
From now on, consider anything beyond Dusky Bridge to be off limits. We'll be going now. Excuse us.
This is no time to be standing around, Phoenix Wright. Aren't there other things that demand your attention?
She's right. Thanks for reminding me. Sister Bikini looks like she shrunk some since I last saw her.
Don't be so rude, Phoenix Wright. What's wrong, Sister Bikini? My. Hello, you two. How are you doing?
Sound of that sigh, I guess she's still pretty down.
Iris was just here, you know. She was accompanied by that handsome crimson-plaid prince.
Talking about Edgeworth? Back off. That's my prince.
It was a courtesy call. I wasn't allowed to talk with her at all. Oh dear, it's all my fault that this has happened. Poor Iris. She was worried about my back, would you believe? What have I done to her? Only what you had to, sister. You bravely and truthfully testified about what you saw. There's no shame in that.
Von Karma as a party member is very funny. I would play a whole game like this, unironically.
And we'll see to it that your testimony wasn't made in vain. Well, I don't hear anyone else saying that. Mr. Bluesuits doesn't seem to share your opinion, I see.
Huh? Oh, yes. You did great, Sister Bikini. Absolutely spectacular.
You two are the only ones who've said that to me.
Can't shake the feeling that I just became a shill to a shrew.
Do you have a problem, Phoenix Wright?
Sure, she was brave to testify so truthfully like that. But I know she's still hiding something. Guess it's time to break those psyche locks of hers.
Take that!
Psycho locks. Sister Bikini, the truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. I'm convinced that Miss Elise Donham had a special significance to this temple. As to why she had a special significance, I believe it has to do with her true identity.
What on earth are you talking about? She was... Mystic Elise was an author. Just an author of picture books.
To be honest, I had my suspicions almost immediately after I met her.
Suspicions?
Yes, but I didn't have any evidence to support my theory, though. But now I do. This piece of evidence proves Miss Donham's true identity.
Take that!
Miss Donham had this charm with her at all times.
Where did you...
This isn't some cheap good luck charm, either.
Then what do you think it is, Mr. Wright? What could a talisman like that possibly mean?
It's a talisman, is it? Interesting.
Oops.
This thing speaks volumes about who Miss Donham really was. This talisman and one other item unequivocally prove Miss Donham's true identity.
Take that!
The painting is obscured by the gravy stain at the moment. But this scroll shows the master of the Kurine channeling technique. Crest at the top is a sign of that honorable title. The very same crest that adorns the talisman the victim carried with her. This crest is reserved for the master of Kurine.
Who on earth told you that nonsense? I've got no idea what you're talking about.
The new master, Maya Fey, told me.
What? You mean that acolyte is Misty Fey's...
Daughter? Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. In fact, since her eldest daughter passed away, Maya is Misty Fey's sole successor.
Mystic Misty. Mystic Elise graced us with her presence about a week ago. When she showed me the talisman with that mark on it, well, I nearly fainted. No one had seen her since she disappeared 17 years ago, after all. What's the significance of this talisman, sister? The Kurine talisman? It's a master of the it's the symbol of the master of Kurine. The pair must carry it with them always until their death. Until their death.
So at least Donum really was Maya's mother. Huh.
She was Misty Faye, the master of the Kurine channeling technique.
Truth comes out at last. Looks like we're making some headway here.
Tell me, sister. After 17 years, why did she choose to show herself now? Because something happened that called her out of hiding.
What happened?
Well... What's happening?
It can't be.
Earthquake! Oh my goodness, the inner temple! This kind of tremor might... The inner temple? The sacred cavern in the training hall. It might very well cave in.
What? Maya!
It seems to have passed.
Well, we can't just stand here and do nothing. Let's go.
What? Where?
To the inner temple, of course. Where else? Sister Bikini, we'll finish this later, alright?
Of course. You run along now. People may have been hurt. I must get some first aid kits ready. Come on then, Phoenix Wright. They won't bar you from entering as long as I'm with you.
Thank you. Right at that moment, I had the worst feeling in my gut. Just had an earthquake. I wonder if he's alright.
You look worried. Are you thinking about Miles Edgeworth?
Come on, let's go. Honestly, it's really sweet that, like, Phoenix... Like, it's not his immediate thing because he's worried about Maya. But, like, second thought that he has is immediately like, oh shit, is Edgeworth okay? Because Edgeworth has trauma with earthquakes. Gotta hurry to the inner temple and... Right. What are you doing here? How could I have...
Who do you expect us to understand if you don't speak up?
How? Hey, why am I the one getting whipped? She's gone. No. The defendant, Iris. She's gone.
Gone where?
She fled. She escaped.
What?
So it was just now, during the... It's easy to see Edgeworth's one and only weakness. His fear of earthquakes. I should have known better than to escort the defendant alone. As soon as the ground started shaking, everything went dark before my eyes, and... I stupidly passed out. That incident haunts you to this day, doesn't it? That's no excuse for letting the suspect get away. I can't believe I let it happen. Right, the inner temple area is a dead end, so she could have only escaped to this side.
We haven't seen her.
Then we need to get a manhunt underway now, and search the Eagle Mountain from top to bottom. Wait, Edgeworth. Have you thoroughly checked the inner temple yet? Don't be ridiculous, why would I? The inner temple is like an island. There's no way to escape but to cross. No, that's not it. Iris isn't the type of person to run away, Edgeworth. What are you talking about? Sister Bikini mentioned something when we were with her. She said that the sacred cavern might have caved in because of the earthquake.
And then you think Iris might have gone to the inner temple to check on the situation?
Listen, Edgeworth. I'm sure she's at the inner temple. A manhunt is not necessary. Right. Let's not waste any more time. We need to get to the training hall's sacred cavern now. Alright, let's go. Fortunately, the sacred cavern hadn't caved in. But what we found was something none of us could have ever expected. How can there be
Even more locks.
What is the meaning of this? Iris! Iris, please tell me. What the hell is going on? Right. Is this what Godot was talking about? Yeah, the trick locks. Now then, Iris, please remove these at once.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm afraid I can't. It's not possible for me.
What? During the earthquake, when the cavern was in danger of caving in, Iris escaped. And I know that there was only one lock when I last came here.
So you're saying that you can't undo the new locks? Yes.
If only I was stronger. Edgeworth, how are you feeling? You look a little pale in the face. Like you're one to talk with your face all green.
Miles Edgeworth, go and get some air. I'll watch over the suspect. You go and get a grip on yourself.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm perfectly
There's no telling what sort of mistakes you could make in your current state. Go and get some rest. That's your only concern now, Miles Edgeworth.
Understood. I'll handle the investigation in the garden. You take care of things here. Edgeworth. He's got so much pride that he's probably off crying in the corner of the garden.
Pride is simply another trap that hinders us in our lives. That said, one must have pride to be effective on the job. At any rate, it seems that this is where we part ways, Phoenix Wright. I'm going to stay here and see if I can't help solve these bothersome puzzles.
I see. Well, thanks for your help. Now then, do you mind if I ask you a few things, Iris?
No, not at all.
Why did you make a run for it, Iris?
I'm sorry. I heard the inner temple had been severely shaken by the strong earthquake we had. I was so worried. I just had to come and see. In other words, you didn't run away to escape the law. At least we're clear on that. I can't tell you how relieved I was when I saw the sacred cavern was all right. But what? And then I saw these chains here. I saw all these extra locks that someone put on the sacred cavern's door, and...
That wasn't your voice, but okay.
Who in the world could have done something like this? These trick locks are a sacred treasure of the Kurine tradition. There are hundreds of ways to set them. That's why only the person who set the lock can open it. And you aren't the one who set these locks.
I don't think it's that simple, Franziska von Karma. When we were here the first time, there was only one lock. But now, somehow there's 5 of them.
What does that mean?
It means that someone wanted to secure the place even more. They wanted to secure it before you got here, Iris. Presumably because they wanted to make sure Maya couldn't get out. This means that Iris can only open one of these locks, the first one.
Yes, that's correct. But
Iris, try to think, please. Isn't there any way around this?
Well, like I said, there are hundreds of different ways to set these locks. I suppose if we went through every combination with each one, I could remove them. But it will take time, won't it? Yes, about a day if I had to guess.
Whole day?
Well, that's better than leaving the locks in place. Will you do this for us? Sure. I'll do whatever I can.
Gotta wait another day? Hang in there, Maya. Going to have to call on your inner strength now. You know what, Iris? There's still one thing I don't quite get.
And what might that be, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
I think it's obvious. Iris, on the night of the murder, where were you? Please, Iris, don't give me that look. You told us that you were in your room at Hazakura Temple at the time of the incident. But you were seen that same evening at the Inner Temple. And then, you were spotted at the scene of the crime in Hazakura Temple too.
Being spotted at both Hazakura Temple and the Inner Temple. It's as if you were...
Well, Iris, I think it's about time you told us the truth. Is it 5? 3. I knew it. There's something going on here that we don't know about. What is our first question here? I think it's time you told the truth about what you were doing on that night. You said you were in your room at Hazakura Temple the entire time. Do you still claim that to be the truth?
Yes, that's where I was.
Iris, I believe you're innocent. That's why I want to believe what you're telling me too. But I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else on the night of the murder.
Take that!
I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course.
Sister Bikini.
Her testimony in court today was very clear.
That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the Inner Temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. And so I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple.
Sister Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night. So you see, Iris, you were there at the Inner Temple on the night of the murder.
That's very impressive, Mr. Wright. The acolyte's actual training was due to start after 10 o'clock that night. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late.
What time was that?
Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the Inner Temple. And so I would have left at around 9:40 p.m., I think.
Sorry, Iris, but lying just doesn't suit you.
Huh?
Now, you say you left the main hall at 9:40 p.m. But what you say doesn't add up with this.
Take that!
You yourself testified to the contrary, don't you remember? You said that you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock that night. Plus, only moments before you rang that bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have.
Who's that?
Me.
Mr. Wright.
We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten.
No. That's right. I remember.
This brings us to another puzzling fact, Iris. At 10 o'clock on the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. It's time you told me exactly what's been going on, Iris. So far, I've managed to prove two things. First, on the night of the incident, you were at the Inner Temple. And second, at the exact same time, you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this apparent impossibility. There were two of you. On the night of the incident, you were seen in two different places at the same time. Which means there must have been two of you. Can't think of any other explanation, Iris.
But that's crazy. How could that be? There's only one of me. It's impossible.
Possible? I wonder. Well, your trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise.
You're seriously trying to suggest that there's more than one of me? Then show me the evidence. Show me something that proves that there's more than one of me.
If it's not... My immediate thought is to send the hood, because there's conflicting statements about the hood, but I don't think we have the piece of evidence for this yet. Yeah, we don't. Finally getting to the bottom of this case. I can count on Iris to break those locks, so I should try to gather more clues. From Sister Bikini, Edgeworth, Gumshoe, and Pearls. Cops are still combing the place. They look pretty nervous. I'd be nervous too. It's gotta be a tough job. Especially with someone giving you the evil eye the whole time. How could I have done that? Wow, can't believe it's still bothering him. Edgeworth? Hey, don't you dare run away. What do you want, Wright? What do I want? If you came here to laugh at me, then get on with it. Go on, laugh away. I was ready to hug it out with him, but he's just the same prideful Edgeworth. You went back to the Criminal Affairs Department, right? You said you wanted to look into something concerning Iris. Yes. And thanks to what I've found, I was reminded of something terrible. You guys are putting a lot of effort into the investigation of the garden here, huh? There's a high chance this isn't the actual scene of the crime. That's why. I mean, because of the writing in blood and the talisman in the snow? Exactly. As you know, those things couldn't have been planted here after the murder. But surely, you don't suspect Maya, do you? We have to treat everyone as a suspect. Maya as well as Iris. It's our job, right? So, I guess you still haven't gotten over your fear of earthquakes. No. Though thankfully my nightmares have stopped. But still, if the ground gives even the slightest tremor, I find myself short of breath. 17 years ago, when we were little school kids at the same elementary school, Edgeworth found himself in the middle of a murder. It all started with that big quake that hit the courthouse. Yes, I was stuck in the elevator with my father, who was a defense attorney. We were deprived of oxygen and we passed out. That's when it happened. That single gunshot shattered my whole life. I lost everything that day, all because of that earthquake. My dreams, my family, and myself. It's been more than 17 years now. That case was finally resolved 2 years ago, right? You think I don't know that? I was there, but it was such a shock. I never imagined I could be so wrong about myself and my life. I'm sorry, Wright. There's nothing else I can say. Not after you chose to become a lawyer for my sake. Not after you saved me. Edgeworth, you're stronger than you think. So no more of this self-pity, okay? There was something that bothered me about her from the very moment we met. I felt like I'd seen her somewhere before. No, wait. Not somewhere. I felt like I'd seen her in court before. So you went back to Criminal Affairs Department to look for her file? Yes, I checked over every case file I've ever worked on. And I was right. I had seen her face before. 6 years ago. 6 years ago? It was my first appearance in court, and as cases go, it was my worst nightmare. So, who is she? I'm sorry, Wright. I can't give that information away to a member of the general public. What? Why not? It might be the crucial piece of this puzzle that solves this case. The woman I knew was the daughter of a jewelry store owner. She had nothing to do with this Iris and Hazakura Temple. And neither did the case. No, that woman is completely unrelated to this murder. Unrelated? Yes, I can say that with complete confidence. You're wrong, Edgeworth. She's totally related to this case. I need to fill Edgeworth in. I need to explain the connection between Iris and the woman Edgeworth knew. I guess we need to go talk to Bikini. It's weird that there's no one around all of a sudden. Sure gets quiet up here in the mountains when you're all on your own. Speaking of alone, I guess I should go check out the shack just down this path. Maybe I'll find Larry there sulking again. Wonder if Sister Bikini is back in the main hall yet. Haven't seen Gumshoe around for a while either. Maybe they're having a cup of tea together somewhere. Bet Gumshoe is Sister Bikini's type. What an odd thing to say. Looks like Sister Bikini's not here. She must be sorting things out after the quake. Must be hard with her bad back. There are a few things I really need to discuss with her. So I'll drop by again later and see if she's around. Sounds like someone's happy. What tune is it they're humming? Motive, no crime. Motive, no crime. Sing it with me. No motive, no crime. Remember when we used to search in the channeling room in Kurine? Well, I love my job. Who cares if the clues I find are no good? That's not what investigating's all about. Investigator investigates for the love of investigating. It's a passion. Cases we have, good cases we've lost. Along the way. Never would have guessed that Gumshoe was so into reggae. Our case is gonna be airtight. Our case is gonna be airtight. Hey, pal. Huh? Who, me? How long you been there? I just got here. Oh, okay. So what are you up to, detective? I'm investigating, pal. Made a promise to Mr. Edgeworth. Promised I would find the real murder weapon. No murder weapon. The barbed sword thing turned out to be a false lead, right? I'm giving him my best shot here, but I still haven't turned up any clues. Just found these weird scraps of paper. Looks like a letter or something. Doesn't seem to have anything to do with the case, though. A letter? So how's the investigation going, Detective Gumshoe? I don't know if I should be telling you, pal. I guess it can't hurt. Looks like the murder took place in the Inner Temple Garden. And they're taking that bloody writing on the lantern pretty seriously back at HQ. What? You mean... I don't have the details, pal. All I know is that if you don't find Maya down in that sacred cavern, we're gonna be faced with one ugly situation. What kind of ugly situation are we looking at here?
You got me. I don't know. Not my words, pal.
Then who said it?
Mr. Godot.
Godot? What did he mean by that? About that letter you found.
Don't remind me, pal. Busted my gut here trying to find that murder weapon. I find us some burnt-up old letter.
Burnt-up old letter?
Yeah, it was in that incinerator right outside the inner temple.
The incinerator? I knew it. I knew I wasn't imagining it. There was snow on the incinerator when I first saw it. But after the incident, the snow had melted away. Which means someone used the incinerator on the night of the murder.
What's up with you, pal? Got it right here if you want to take a look.
Can I? Do you mind?
Sure, go nuts. I don't want it, pal. You can have it. It's all spirit mediums and masters and stuff, but it's got no relation to the case.
Spirit mediums? It's gotta be important if it mentions spirit mediums and masters. I better give it a good looking over and some serious thought.
Make sure you chuck it in the trash when you're done. Littering's a crime, pal.
So what do you know about the real murder weapon so far?
It wasn't the Shiji Shito that was found impaled in the victim's body. Mr. Edgeworth proved that in court today.
Yes, that's true.
In which case, it must have been another blade.
And that's what you're that's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for now, huh?
Yeah. Man, is it trying to work? Let me tell you something, pal. I'm no chicken. Well, or we've got the feather of forensics in our cap these days. We're using the department's secret weapon on this.
Secret weapon? What's this secret weapon of yours?
You wanna know? Gotta think scientifically, okay?
Alright.
Murder weapon was a sword. Swords are, scientifically speaking, made of metal, right? Any questions so far?
No. I know what he's gonna say, but I'll let him look smart.
So what's the perfect tool for a job? Ta-da! Metal detector.
Raise your hand if you didn't see this coming from a mile away.
Oh, you want to give scientific investigation a go?
Huh? Me?
I've been using this thing for hours now. It's pretty boring after a while. Why don't you give it a try?
I don't know. Should I help Detective Gumshoe out or not? Play forensics expert. This reminds me of Emma.
Come on, pal, it's good fun, I'm telling you.
Alright then. I guess I'll give it a go.
Like I said, this department's most advanced gadget. The absolute best.
Scientific investigation.
It's so sensitive, you can make it cry. So high-tech that you could skydive off it.
Oh, bother.
I'm gonna tell you how to use it. It's possible the real murder weapon is around here somewhere, right?
Sure, that's what we're trying to find out.
Right. So first, let's turn the detector on. The sound of the metal detector signal bouncing off something metallic. Next.
Yep, move the detector around and give the courtyard.
Don't worry, this baby will let you know when you've hit something on metallic.
Blah, blah, blah. Tutorial. This is Miss Donham's staff, isn't it?
Scientifically speaking, they're made of wood.
But the detector's reacting to it.
Yeah, but however you look at it, the thing's made of wood, alright? Don't bother investigating anything unless it looks like it might be metallic.
Isn't the whole point of a metal detector to find metal where you can't see it?
It's where this thing is causing a racket.
Here, let me take a look at it.
Hey, hands off. Examining evidence is job for the...
Top's coming off.
What have you done? Damaged a really important piece of evidence. That's a
sword?
inside the staff.
Is this Could it be... murder weapon? I'd never have guessed there'd be a sword concealed in the victim's staff. Call this kind of thing a sword cane, pal. It's a real gem. Workmanship's really something else. Thank goodness it wasn't a cane sword. Or else the victim would have stabbed her own foot. I officially give up on trying to figure out how Gumshoe's mind works. The real scene of the crime was the inner temple garden. Then why was the sword used to kill the victim found in the main hall courtyard? Hey, Gumshoe. Who knows about the hidden sword? No one. Even the police don't know about this until I discovered it just now. Well, as they say, there's no team in Gumshoe. Doesn't look like there are any traces of blood on it. I guess this isn't the murder weapon. I guess this isn't the murder weapon, huh? What the heck? That's really funny. My dashboard just played the animation for hitting the follower goal that we hit last night for some reason. I guess this isn't the murder weapon, huh? No. I'm sure someone just wiped it off after the murder. Yeah, of course. This thing's definitely the murder weapon. Great job, pal. It's got the same length as the Shijishito, too. This must be the murder weapon. Okay, I'm gonna run it over to forensics. There's gotta be some traces of blood left, even if most of it's been wiped off. See you later, pal. Every case is gonna be airtight. This is gonna be airtight. Wait up, detective! Huh? What is it, pal? Be a busy guy right now, you know? You're gonna get that staff analyzed, right? Would you mind holding off for just a while? Huh? What are you talking about, pal? Please. Just until we find Maya. Maya? What's this got to do with her? I don't know, but I'm starting to get a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Oh? How so? Look, Maya's trapped inside the sacred cavern right now, and... well, we don't even know if she's okay or not. The more evidence and testimony I hear, the more uneasy I feel. You don't think Maya's been murdered? Please, detective. Let's just wait until we can get inside the sacred cavern. You're looking kind of already in there. Okay, just stop it with that face, pal. One thing, though. Staff's got a secret trick. Let's keep it between you and me, alright? It's out that we knew about it and didn't say anything, we're finished. I understand. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill staff, you got it? Okay, now you take good care of it, pal. Thank you, detective. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Gumshoe. You know, there's that place at the base of this mountain that has some really good pasta. How about I take you there when you find Maya, huh, pal? Sure, thanks. Can't help but wonder, though. What was Elise Donum doing with a staff like this in the first place?
Oh, Mr. Nick.
Pearls, what are you doing here?
Nothing. What about Mystic Maya? Is she alright?
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh, I see.
Hey, what do you think you're doing here, Nick? Larry. It's the Loser's Shack, where losers get together to lose themselves. Is the what? Hey, we find comfort in each other's failures, okay? Got a problem with that?
Look, Mr. Nick, Mr. Lorice did a picture of me.
That's, great, Pearls. We're gonna gather firewood now. We'll be cooking some half-rotten potatoes over a miserable little campfire. So stay out of our way. I don't believe this. Why is he trying to get fired up over becoming a better... Or why can't he try getting fired up over becoming a better man? Well, no one believes a word I say anymore. Listen to me, Pearl. You don't want to trust this kind of guy, okay? He'll only let you down.
Oh, Mystic Maya.
Larry, is there something you want to tell me about this picture? I got nothing to say to you, Nick. My life's here now with Pearl. Two losers cooking potatoes together forevermore. What am I gonna do with him? Alright then. What do you think about this picture, Pearls?
I think it's really well drawn. I can't draw at all, so I think it's really amazing.
See? Someone appreciates it. It's tough getting the flames to look like that, you know?
It's supposed to be Sister Iris flying through the air, isn't it? I love it. It's like a dream, a wonderful fantasy.
No, it wasn't a dream. She really flew. I'm telling you, Iris really flew that night.
But Mr. Lorice...
Not you too. Please don't look at me like that, Pearl. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of nutcase, I beg of you. Guess this picture really is a representation of what Larry thinks he saw. Okay, so I was half asleep when I was here that night. But I was wide awake after the lightning struck. And I saw what I saw. It was exactly like I drew in the picture. Looks like I don't have any choice but to take the sketch at face value. Hey, what's with the look of doubt on your face? Pearls?
Yes, Mr. Nick?
I've been meaning to ask you about the night of the murder. Where were you, and what exactly were you doing when it all happened?
I was just, well, I'm just a kid, you know? I'm sure it doesn't really matter, but what I was doing, does it, Mr. Nick?
Sorry, Pearls, but yes, it does. On the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Miss Donham's room reading a book together. But Miss Donham was murdered, and you, Pearls, were at the Inner Temple. Just what exactly happened that night, Pearls?
I'm really sorry, Mr. Nick.
Oh, that's really funny. I like that it put the fifth one up above her, because if it was in its normal spot, it would be covering her face.
I've been a bad girl. That's why I'm being punished.
What are you talking about, Pearls?
My spiritual power has disappeared.
What? Powers have disappeared? What do you mean your power has disappeared, Pearls?
It's all over for me. A spirit medium who can't channel spirits is like a painter who can't paint.
Hey, what are you looking at me for? Pearls, did you try to channel someone's spirit right here at Hazakura Temple? Tried but failed, perhaps? Wow. My voice is very hoarse. Way to go, Nick. You made her cry. That was really cruel of you. Just as I thought. Gonna have to break her psyche locks to get the truth out of her.
Take that!
After dinner on the night, you're supposed to be in Elise Donham's room reading a book together, correct?
Yes, I was so happy when she invited me. But I didn't go in the end.
Didn't go?
No, there was somewhere else I had to go instead. I was so worried, I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous.
So Pearls never went to Miss Donham's room because she was too worried about something or someone else. Pearls, on the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you?
Take that!
You went here, didn't you, Pearls? Looks like she's still not gonna open up to me. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? And the next question is, who or what were you so worried about? Now, I'm gonna take a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay?
You mean you know?
If I'm right, will you tell me the whole truth?
Okay.
You went to this place for one very simple reason. That is this.
Take that!
It's obvious what you were so worried about, Pearls. It was Maya, wasn't it? You knew the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was the special course.
I signed up for your special course. Well, my. Quite brave of you considering how cold it is. Young people can be so reckless with their health. Don't blame me if you become one with those you channel.
Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? Because it was you who introduced Hazakura Temple to Maya in the first place. You felt responsible, didn't you?
Thinking about what could happen to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still at all. That's why I decided to go and find out how she was doing at the Inner Temple.
Then we're clear now that you went to the Inner Temple that night, Pearls. What's not clear is what happened after that. About what time was it that you headed over to the Inner Temple?
It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real training was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started. But there was so much snow I couldn't get there until after 10 o'clock.
Till after 10? How did you know what time it was?
Because I heard the bell ringing for lights out.
The lights out bell. Hazakura Temple bell's pretty small though, isn't it? You must have really good hearing.
I was really trying to pick up the sound of that bell. That's all. I didn't want to miss it. That would be terrible.
Just trying to hear the bell. Tell me, Pearls, why were you so worried about hearing that bell?
Huh? Oh, I
think I know why. The reason you were so worried about that bell was because of this.
Take that!
You were given some instructions to follow for that night, weren't you? I presume that you recognize these pieces of paper?
But where did you...
In the incinerator at the Inner Temple. Pearls, you were following the instructions in this letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the lights out bell.
I'm speechless, Mr. Nick. You're amazing.
These instructions that were found in the incinerator, I believe they were written for you, Pearls.
And for me, no.
As you can see, a large portion has been burnt. But the last section is still fairly legible. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit.
Who was it, Pearls? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Taking into account the author of the note, their purpose for writing it, whose spirit would Pearls be trying to channel? Don't overthink it, Phoenix. It's pretty obvious who Pearls was supposed to channel. I don't have this yet. I don't have this information because Bikini ghosted me.
Well, what's the damage? How is the sacred cavern?
Looks like it survived. But we have a bigger problem now. Told Sister Bikini all about it. But the 5 locks that were stopping us from getting inside the sacred cavern.
But who? Who could have done that? The only people who know how to set those trick locks are those of the Kurein tradition.
We have Iris at the sacred cavern trying her best to open them for us right now. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to talk with you about, Sister Bikini.
Oh yes, we were in the middle of a chat, weren't we?
Yes, you were telling me about about how the Master of Kurein disappeared 17 years ago. I want to know why Misty Face suddenly appeared at this temple.
It was about a week ago when Mystic Elise... No, I mean Mystic Misty arrived. After she showed me the talisman that proved she was the master, she said... And someone is trying to destroy the Kurein's tradition's main family line. I'm here to put a stop to them.
Someone was trying to destroy the main family line?
There's only one heir to the title of master at any time, and it's usually the eldest. That child becomes the new master of Kurein, and her daughter's the main family.
Morgan fucking Fay.
All other mediums become branch family members with no hope of controlling the clan. That's why nothing has changed throughout the history of the clan. Branch families always have, and always will plot to erase those of the main family line.
Is the power of the Master worth this much bloodshed?
You believe in the technique, don't you, Mr. Wright? You know its power is real.
Yes, I do. It's been 2 years since I first met Maya. In that time, I've seen her channel the spirits of the dead plenty of times. During the Mask-to-Mask case. And during Maggie Bird's trial, too. Thanks to Maya, Mia's always on hand to help me when I need her the most.
The Kurein technique has made a huge difference in the world, you know. I mean the ability to commune with the dead. That's true psychic power, you know. Members of the tradition have always been there, and every important leader. Who wouldn't respect such a tremendous skill?
I suppose so, but... with all that power and influence, I kind of expected you'd be really rich by now.
Are you saying we're poor, Mr. Wright? You're very direct, aren't you? People don't believe in it anymore, you see. All because of one little mistake.
Mistake? What mistake?
It was 17 years ago. That's when everything came crashing down. All because of that incident.
That incident? Is she talking about what I think she is?
I'm sure the records still exist if you're interested. Locked up, of course. It was called the DL6 incident. That's the name of the file.
DL6 incident. Knew it. The DL6 incident. I know it well. I handled a related case just 2 years ago.
That's right. So it was you who was the defense attorney on that case.
Murder that took place 17 years ago.
It was the first time in the country's history the police had ever used a spirit medium. The idea was to channel the victim's spirit and learn the identity of the murderer.
The medium who performed the channeling was Misty Faye, Maya's mother.
Through Mystic Misty's channeling, the name of a certain man surfaced. Armed with that as evidence, the investigators were spurred into action.
That man. He was found not guilty, wasn't he? Also, can I just say, I have always taken issue with this. Yanni Yogi was found innocent of killing Gregory Edgeworth on the grounds of insanity. Which basically just means, like, yes, he did kill Edgeworth's dad, but, you know, he wasn't in his right mind when he did it, so it's fine. Like, I don't understand how this ruined the Faye family when it's like, yeah, he was technically found not guilty, but he was still also blamed for the crime. You know, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb and I'm missing something, but it feels weird.
That's right, he was. And the case remained a mystery. In other words, we failed. It was the first case the world had ever seen the Kuran tradition openly involved in. It was all over the media, the public, the judiciary, people of Kuran Village. Everyone judged her. Everyone said Mystic Misty's powers were a sham. Despite the fact that it's very verifiably not a sham, you literally see her transform when she channels someone. And then she just disappeared. Vanished while everyone still thought of her as a fraud.
But I know the truth. Misty Faye's spirit channeling wasn't a sham at all.
Of course it wasn't. And since you managed to reveal the truth, we're finally making a comeback. The Kuran tradition is starting to recover at last. But with a new master wielding the power of the clan.
You mean Maya?
The spiritual power of the Kuran channeling technique is in the blood.
Maya's told me the exact same thing before.
We, the women of the Fae clan, have always been spirit mediums. It's because of the power to communicate with spirit, because the power It's because the power to communicate with spirits flows strongly through us. Jesus Christ, why was that so difficult?
According to Maya, only the women in the family can inherit that power.
The main family's bloodline stems directly from Mystic Ami. But with each new generation, only one daughter becomes the new master.
The ones who don't become branch families, right?
That's right, and it's always the cause of tragedy.
No, Maya had a sister too. An older sister named Mia.
Oh yes, I've heard of her.
What? You know about Mia?
Of course. She became a lawyer in the hopes of discovering what happened to her mother.
Lost her life as a result. I'm to horizontal soon. I'm hoping to finish the investigation, but it's possible that I don't make it to the end of the investigation before the end of today. I'm definitely not going into the trial though. Like, if we hit the breakpoint save, I'm going with that save.
Do you know what Mystic Mia is rumored to have said? She said it wasn't only because of her mother that she became a lawyer. She also didn't want to fight with her sister over the leadership of the tradition.
Really?
Well, she saw what happened to her own mother, Mystic Misty, as she grew up. I guess Mystic Mia got tired of seeing all the rivalry between her mom and her aunt.
That's right. Misty Faye had an elder sister too. And Misty, having superior powers, managed to usurp the master seat from her.
Mystic Misty's sister is Mystic Morgan, as you probably know.
Morgan? There's a name I know well. It was a year ago now, at Maya's home, Kurine Village. What she did was terrible. It was also that she could make her own daughter the next master.
I suppose if you know about Mystic Morgan's daughter, then you must have already realized that Iris...
Huh? Iris? What's Iris got to do with any of this?
And that Iris is... Mystic Morgan's daughter.
What? Iris is what? Is she kidding me? Iris is Morgan Fay's daughter? Did you just say that Iris is Morgan Fay's daughter?
Oops, I thought you already knew. It sounded like you'd met one of Mystic Morgan's daughters already.
I have. I know her very well.
Oh?
Yes, Pearl Fay. But I always thought she was an only child.
You jest. That child. She's Mystic Morgan's... I had no idea. Mystic Morgan. But she's in prison now, isn't she?
Yes. Ever since she was found to be a co-conspirator in a murder case last year. It was all done to set Pearls up as the next master.
I see. So I've been wrong all this time. Mystic Morgan had 3 daughters, not 2.
Wait, what? 3?
Yes. Iris, her twin sister, and Mystic Pearl.
What? Twin sister?
Oh, didn't you know? It all happened 20 years ago. After the clan leadership was taken from her by her sister, Mystic Morgan's life crumbled. It wasn't many years later that Kurine's reputation hit an all-time low. When Mystic Morgan's husband realized his wife would never become the master, he left her and the village, taking their twin daughters with him.
How awful.
He was a jeweler, you know. In the end, he remarried, and that's when it happened. He decided to give one of his girls up, to be looked after by us here at the temple. And that was Iris, you see.
It's unbelievable. Iris is a twin sister. Could it be... could you tell me one more thing, Sister Bikini? What was the name of Iris's sister?
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I just can't remember. All I can recall is that her father was a jeweler.
That's a clue, I guess. Jeweler. Thank you very much. You've helped clear up a lot of details. Pearl's had 2 older sisters, huh?
Yes, that's right. No doubt it was all because of Mystic Morgan's anger toward the main family.
Anger? What do you mean?
Her twin daughters were taken from her by her jeweler husband. But even that couldn't destroy her dream of a child of hers, or that a child of hers could one day lead the clan.
That's why she had pearls?
It seems that the incident here was a result of Mystic Morgan's anger. It was able to break free of the bars that confine her.
So Iris has a twin sister. Plot thickens. But this information will be useless unless I can flesh it out a bit. I need to ask more questions and get more info. Oh, Edgeworth. I have some evidence for you. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know that Iris had a twin sister?
What?
A twin? You can't be serious. Sister Bikini told me, but... the problem is she didn't know the name of this twin. There was nothing about Iris having a sister in the files I checked. Well, Iris was taken in by the temple when she was really young. Apparently her sister was raised by her father. A jeweler, I think. A jeweler? Right, I just might know who this twin sister of hers is. I had a feeling you'd say that. Let me guess. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, right? Yes, exactly. Please tell me what you know about her, Edgeworth. Please. It was my first court case, 6 years ago. I was a greenhorn, and due to my inexperience, the defendant died. You're talking about Terry Falls, right? You know about that case. You're not the only one who noticed something about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne. I checked one of Mia's old files from 6 years ago. Yes, Dahlia was a key witness in that case. Dahlia and Terry Falls conspired to stage a fake kidnapping 11 years ago. They stole a jewel worth $2 million from Dahlia's father, a jeweler. And 5 years after that, she murdered her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne, to keep her from talking. Her sister? Well, her stepsister, actually. They weren't blood-related. Valerie was the only daughter of Dahlia's father's second wife. Oh. This is when she entered my life. The woman who tried to kill me. So after Terry Falls died, what happened to Dahlia? Did you check that out? Does it really matter? Like I said, Dahlia isn't connected with this case. Why are you so sure about that? It's simple. Dahlia Hawthorne is dead. What? Well, her metabolic processes are a matter of interest to only historians, so to speak. What do you mean by Dahlia Hawthorne is dead, Edgeworth? Right. I must confess that in reading her file, I came to know of the murder case you were involved in during your college years. Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, thanks to the persistence of Mia Fey.
Mia Fey? Mia Fey?
At the time, Dahlia... it's like she was possessed by a demon or something. It's been almost 5 years since that guilty verdict was handed down, and her sentence was finally carried out. She was executed last month. Executed? I'm sure that's a bit of a shock for you, right? And for more reasons than one. But do you understand now? She can't possibly be connected with this case. She's dead, and once someone is dead, there's no way to revive them. There's no way to revive the dead? I wonder. Seems you're not aware of the other connection yet, Edgeworth. And what is that? It's about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne's mother. What's their mother got to do with any of this? She's Morgan Fey, a spirit medium from a branch family of the Kurine channeling technique. Did you say Kurine channeling technique? Do you know something about it? Oh yes, I know it's connected with a fraudulent spirit medium. Fraudulent? I was involved in another nightmare 17 years ago. I was caught up in the middle of a murder investigation. The police didn't have any leads. They were stumped, and that's when they called her in. She was a very famous spirit medium, and the master of her channeling school. But you know what happened? As a result of her efforts, an innocent man was accused of murder. She and her powers, they were all fraudulent. Edgeworth. Go to the police records room. It's all in there. All you have to do is check the DL6 incident case file and you'll know. Of course. How could I forget? Edgeworth was the victim in that case. Edgeworth, you'll understand someday. And then, you'll see that the Kurain channeling technique is real. I was expecting Larry and Pearls to be here. Guess they must have gone to collect firewood. Suppose I'll have to check back later. Come on, really?
Iris had a twin sister. That's really all I know about her. That and the fact that she was taken away from her mother by her jeweler father. I don't have any idea where she is or what she's doing now.
I could tell her. She'd probably have a coronary and a half. I doubt it. Still can't believe it, pal. Never guessed there would be a sword in that thing. Sure, there isn't any blood left on it, but there's a good chance this is the murder weapon, pal. This is Miss Donham's staff, right? That would mean she was killed with her own weapon. Guess so. And there's something else that's bothering me, too. Oh, what's that, pal? Miss Donham was an author and an illustrator, right? So what was she doing carrying a sword around with her? That's a good question. There's gotta be a good answer to it, I guess. Luck finding it, pal. Beginning to see why he receives the salary he does. Is Iris still available? Oh yeah, Iris still has Psyche Locks, doesn't she?
Take that!
Okay, let's see. I totally forgot that Iris was even here.
Take that!
Nick, you motherfucker, why are these locks in front of me, too? There were two of you.
Take that!
I have a firm grasp of the situation now, Iris. You have a sister, don't you? A twin sister, perhaps? That's right. Dahlia Hawthorne. A woman I know only too well.
I had no idea you knew of her. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. But she's no longer...
Yes, I know. Your sentence was carried out recently, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
There's no need to explain now, is there, Iris? This second you who was here at the temple on the night of the murder. It was your twin sister, Dahlia Hawthorne.
But you just said it yourself a second ago. My sister's dead. Have you forgotten that?
Have you forgotten this, Iris? This is a channeling dojo. Training ground of the Kurain channeling technique. Kurain. That night, someone channeled Dahlia's spirit, and you knew about it. And that's the secret you've been trying to hide from me.
I was in my room in the main hall that night. As soon as I heard I'd be spotted at the inner temple.
Been spotted.
I knew it was my sister. Dahlia, the other half of me who passed away last month.
Just as I suspected. Iris that Sister Bikini saw at the temple on the night of the murder. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Why didn't you tell me this before?
Because my sister always does the right thing.
Excuse me?
And because I mustn't get in the way of what she's trying to do. I already betrayed her once before. I can't do it again.
Betrayed her? What do you mean?
And that's why I have to accept that I may be found guilty. It's the only way.
What is she talking about?
You know about it, don't you, Mr. Wright? About the fake kidnapping that took place here on Eagle Mountain 11 years ago? And that was the start of it all. That's what started her down that twisted path. And she started to commit crime after crime. And in the end, she lost her life. It's all because I betrayed her.
How did you betray her, Iris?
It was no coincidence that Eagle Mountain was where the exchange was to take place. After all, I helped plan the whole thing.
What?
But I got scared, and so I ran away.
What are you talking about? Why would you help her? Stealing $2 million from your own father? That's awful.
But I promised that I'd help. And she didn't do it for the money.
Huh?
It was revenge on our father.
Revenge? What do you mean by revenge?
He was a hideous man. He threw our mother away and then sent her to hell.
Her mother? She must be talking about Morgan Fay.
Our mother was the eldest daughter of the main branch of the Fay family. The Main family had a lot of influence in many business and political circles at the time. As the eldest daughter, our mother was set to inherit all of that as the next master. And that's the reason our father married our mother in the first place, for power. But his plan backfired, because our mother's sister took it all from her. She took over as master of Kurain.
That would be Misty Fay, his mother.
But before long, the credibility of the Kurain tradition hit rock bottom. The new master, Misty Fay, made a terrible mistake. It was during the investigation of the DL6 incident. After that happened, our father took me and my twin sister away, leaving our mother and our home behind. He hated the place. He said it was a hick dive and that he had no reason to stay there.
And that's when you came here to Hazakura Temple.
Yes. The woman my father took as his next wife already had a daughter, Valerie. I had no place in this new family, you see.
Oh.
And I haven't seen my mother once since then. Having the master's seat stolen from her, and being rejected by her own family. I've heard she's been very battered, spiritually and emotionally.
I think I'm finally beginning to see how the pieces fit together.
I've asked her everything I can in my capacity as a prosecutor. And this incident, everything related to it goes back to the history of the Fae clan.
That's what it looks like. Iris, there's just one more thing I want you to tell me.
What is it?
During the incident in which your sister, Dahlia Hawthorne, poisoned a lawyer, she began a relationship with a certain college student in order to hide the evidence. That college student, have you heard anything about him?
Well, I did hear one thing. And she said she hated his guts.
See. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. Hurry up, Phoenix Wright. There's still much to investigate. Leave these locks to me. I'll open them for you, I promise.
Thank you. I suppose I'd better continue my investigation. There's still one giant secret left to unlock. Pearl's Psyche Lock. I know that I said that I was probably gonna go to the end, but we're gonna have to open Pearl's Psyche Lock tomorrow. Sorry to kind of tease like that, but I need to end stream. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Exclamation point Discord if you want to join the Discord. Exclamation point socials if you want to check out the VODs channel. Otherwise, give me a second. We'll find someone to raid. Let's raid Sin. So yeah, I hope to see you tomorrow for more Ace Attorney, where we will most likely be finishing the game. And I guess have a good one and take care.